What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Jaguar Journal. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Some technical difficulties this morning, but hey, it's nothing we can't fix. Nothing Mike can't fix back here on the board. But want to say good morning to everybody. Glad to have you guys with us. Because we get a late start right quick, what we're going to do, I just wanted to come in and fill you guys in on what was happening. But hey, we rocking and rolling. Everything is good now. So good morning, everybody listening on Talk 107.3 FM. Across the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching on our Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Let's get ready to take a quick break right quick. When we come back on the other side, we're going to be joined by Southern University softball coach Brittany Williams, to talk to us about an upcoming camp. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back more of the Jaguar Journal. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
What's going on? All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. I'm Perry White. Glad for everybody to tune in that's listening on Talk 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching across the country and the world on our Facebook and YouTube Live. Glad to have you guys with us. Very special guest here on the Jaguar Journal. No stranger to the show, and she's doing a great job over at Southern University because she's the head softball coach. Want to welcome to the show this morning, Coach Brittany Williams. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning, Jag Nation.
How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great.
How you doing so great so early, Coach?
I told you, it's these little ones. They get me up before you guys do.
You know, as we move forward, last season you gave Southern softball one of the best seasons they've had in a long time. And that means, obviously, the direction of the program is headed in the right direction. And you have been doing everything you can in order to make that happen. And one of the things that you see when you have programs headed in the right direction is starting to put together clinics and camps. And you guys have a camp coming up, a clinic coming up for August the 2nd. Talk to us about that. It's going to be at the Jaguar softball field.
Yes, so we have a clinic August 2nd, ages 4 to 18. So we have wide range where want to reach out to the kids early as well to get them on the right path and be fundamentally sound. The thing that I love about our clinics is we make them affordable. We are in a community to, a low-income area, so we want to make sure that we appeal to everybody. So our clinics are $50 a session, and you get to learn from the coaching staff there as well as some players on staff, and we cater to whatever you need. So you get to get there. We teach you our Jaguar style, and then we will ask you, too, like, what are some things that you need to work on? And we help you with those areas, and you should leave there with some skills that you can take home and work on daily so that, you can one day be a Jaguar.
As you build up a program and you put together clinics and camps, what are you looking for as you start to get your eye on, a young lady and say, hey, that's somebody we need to pay attention to as we continue the process of recruiting?
Yes, that's a great question. So we often get asked that, and you would think that the main thing would be talent, but I've seen some talented individuals that don't show the love for the game. When you get to this college level, we practice every single day. We're out there every weekend, hours and hours of work. So when I go recruiting, I like to see people that have smiles on their faces, that are hustling, that are diving, that are excited about the plays, that are excited about the routine outs, that really want to play ball at a high level and is not just kind of just out there. So that's kind of one of the first things I look for. And then, of course, skill and talent are next.
For players, clinics and camps are good, but coaches also attend clinics and camps. Have you been attending or gone to anywhere where you've learned how to process building this program the way you wanted to see it?
Oh, man. Every year we attend the coaches convention held by NFCA, which we love. They have different sessions that we go to. So if there's something that we want, an area that we want to grow in, we go in there and we listen, we take notes, and then they give us those contacts. So I'm really close with some program coaches around here, so I'm able to call them and get information from them as well. And we give back as too. So some high school coaches reach out and they're like, "Hey, do you provide clinics for high school coaches?" So we encourage those high school coaches to come out to our camp to learn drills and how to run a practice and things of that nature as well.
What has the off season for you over the summer been like after the season ended?
Oh, going, going, going. So every weekend we're somewhere. Next week actually, I go to California out recruiting. Um, my assistant coach just left Atlanta, and now he's in Texas this weekend out recruiting. So we're always somewhere looking for our Jaguars.
I need to be on the stage. Y'all going to Cali and all these other places. I just want to be I'll be the water boy. Every team need a water boy. But, you know, last year, as we coming into this year, and we're talking about the clinic and the camp that you guys are going to be putting on, but, you know, I'm amazed and a big fan of yours because the good spirit, the good nature, the attitude that you have as a head coach. But you see it translate to the program as the program had one of the best seasons in a long time. As you're coming out of last season, heading into this season in the off season, having time to yourself to think and put things together, what do you learn about last year that you think is going to help this year for you building this program?
The culture, the foundation is that I really have athletes that have bought in. They believe in what I believe, and they want more for the program. So we were excited about having a transformational season last year, but we're still hungry. So the goal this year is championship, like just 100%, like even in practice, 100%. And that allows us to coach. So in practice, we tell them like, yeah, you got that girl out, but we also use stopwatches. But the time was slow, so you know we might not get them out in the game. So they are able to understand that because they want to win so much that their feelings aren't hurt when we were like, yeah, that was good, but not good enough. So this year, I'm excited about that mindset and the hunger. Like they've been texting me, they're ready. They've been sending me videos about what they've been doing over the summer. So just getting them back together, and I love when school first starts because they get to meet the recruits that we brought in, and it's like a family getting to know each other for the first time. So I'm excited about them, and I feel prideful in saying, hey, my returners, I brought some people in to help you get to that next step.
And overall, looking at SWAC softball, because it's the conference in which we compete in, what is the state, honestly, of SWAC softball as of 2025?
It's going to be tough this year. We had some transitions from like SWAC players to other teams. I know PV just picked up one of the top pitchers in the SWAC, and so that's going to be tough. But we're excited about the challenge, and the sport has grown totally. Like everybody in the SWAC has been doing their thing, has been winning against other conferences as well. So as coaches, we complement each other on that, and we're all focused on growing SWAC softball.
Has the transfer portal been good to you?
It has. It has.
That was going to be last where I was getting at with the program. You know, of course, everybody, for the most part, wants to recruit the high school and develop them up, but that transfer portal, in order to inject someone already with experience and some time on the collegiate level, how has that been working for you as you prepare to come into the fall and get these young ladies signed up for classes and get them ready to rock and roll?
Well, we've been trying to focus on bringing people back home. So we have a commit from EIU. She's from New Orleans area, and EIU won their conference last year, and she played for them and was an intricate part of their team, but just wanted to be home. So we're excited to have her. We also have a transfer from William Carey. She's from the Bruley area. She was Louisiana all-athlete her high school year, so we get to bring her back home. And we also she was at Dillard, not from Louisiana, but wanted to stay in the state of Louisiana, transfer there that's coming to Southern. So we're excited about bringing these girls and keeping them where they want to be.
And one last time for everybody that's out there for the upcoming clinic that you guys are going to be having on August the 2nd, give them the information. the age range, how do they sign up, and everything else?
Yeah, so the age range is 4 to 18. You can sign up at southerntotalcamp.com. If you can't remember that, then you can just email me, Brittany, BRITTNEY, .williams01@sus.edu.
What's that 01? What is that?
You know, my name is it's like John Doe, Brittany Williams, so they have to add the 01 at the end.
you know, people put it as maybe the year I was born, or they put it like this was the birth month, whatever. So I was just curious when you said 01, because I'm like, all right, what's that all about? But, Coach, thank you for coming on this morning as you guys get ready to get further into the season, because I know you're going to be doing something else on August the 19th for a camp that's going to be for 13 to 18-year-olds. So we'll definitely have you back as we begin to get closer to that and start to promote that as well.
Yes, that's around homecoming time, so that's in October, and that's one of our biggest camps. It's the most fun. You guys get to come tailgate with us, watch the game, enjoy the homecoming atmosphere, and then play some softball after that.
Oh, man, I'm looking forward to it. And, Coach, man, you know, everything is the season get ready to get started a little bit later on, but school's getting started. You're getting these young ladies ready for classes. Are you excited about that, getting that first day of class for them?
Yes, I am. They partner with each other. They're all going to kind of walk each other to class and things like that. So getting to see Southern in its best form is day one. Everybody's dressed nice, dressed to impress. So it's nothing like it.
Well, that's the voice of Coach Brittany Williams, the head softball coach at Southern University. Thank you, Coach.
Oh, no problem.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, let's get ready to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to be talking about some SWAC football, all first team, second team SWAC selection. Nobody better talk with than my man Zack McKenna from FCS Football Central. I'm still trying to wake up and get it together. Mike's still trying to wake up and get it together. I know you guys out there still trying to wake up and get it together. Let's wake up and get it together with each other, all right? So y'all stay tuned. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Richard is the quarterback. And, Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help, only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard, looking at the end zone, has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Richard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown!
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, On behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Good morning, everybody out there listening on Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching on our Facebook and YouTube Live. Good morning. Glad to have you guys with us. Want to thank Coach Brittany Williams, the softball coach over at Southern University, to talk to us about the upcoming clinic that should be putting on, looking for talent around the state. But as we continue to move on, we'll talk about talent around the conference, and nobody better to talk that with than my man Zack McKenna, a.k.a. Blue, from FCS Football Central. Good morning, Zach.
What's up, man? Appreciate you having me again.
Man, glad to have you on. You know, when it's time to talk some football, man, we're going to talk some football because I like your IQ and awareness of everything, not just what's going on in the SWAC and the MEAC, but the landscape as a whole when it comes to football. It is enjoyment to be able to have that conversation with someone as we break this down, because the people out there need it to be broken down for us. A lot of times they see it from on the outside, but they need to know what's going on the inside. And when I say the inside, it's understanding who these players and coaches are from these prospective programs around the SWAC. And as we look at the SWAC right now, SWAC Media Day. And first, I want to talk to you about SWAC Media Day. How was it for you, man?
Man, it's always good. I always enjoy it because, one, not only do you get to kind of talk to all the coaches and different players and things like that, but, Perry, I mean, you've been, it's kind of like it gives you a chance to reconnect with all the different media members, too. Just because, I mean, especially for me covering it nationally, I'm not always able to be at, always the top SWAC game every week. Because sometimes, I got to also go to other games across different conferences, things like that. So it's just a good time to reconnect, man. And I think with so many storylines in the SWAC, like we talked about however many weeks ago it was when I was on the show, man, it was kind of easy to, there was just a lot to talk about to each coach. And then for me, Perry, I like to talk to a lot of coaches off the record just to kind of give me a good idea of like where they really stand, because I think coaches will be more honest with you when it's not on camera. And just for me, as much as the interviews that we get to release are great, man, for me, it's really cool to get that inside information. That way I kind of know where to go with my preseason projections and have some stuff that I can talk about as we get into the season.
Let's jump right into it, and let's look at the All-SWAC selection for second team defense. And starting from that defensive line, we look at a guy like DeMarcus Thompson, Texas Southern, Adrian Hall, Bethune-Cookman, James Gardner Jr. from Florida A&M, and Nick Glenn, Alabama A&M. Let's start there with the D-line and looking at a couple of those guys.
Yeah, I'm actually not super surprised about this. I'll be honest, Perry. With so much turnover, it almost kind of feels weird to be like nitpicky with the second team, right? I mean, I would have been just fine if the SWAC wanted to go just one all-conference team, and I would have been just fine with that. So I didn't have any problem with these guys. I will say I think DeMarcus Thompson could be a guy that would be an interesting breakout candidate. He was a transfer from Delaware, had a pretty good year last year. 6'4", 275, really good size. He has the size to move inside in like those pass rushing sets, but I really do think he has the size and ability to make his hay not only at edge, but you can probably move him down to the 3 in certain situations if you wanted. So I think his versatility there makes him extremely interesting. James Gardner too from FAMU is an interesting one. I think it's big that he got second team Perry, because we kind of talked about that defensive line needing to step up last year. I think there were times where the middle of that defensive line just didn't perform as well as we thought they would. I think you had James Ash there in the middle, which is now since transferred to Auburn. They're going to need someone to have to step up at defensive tackle. You have Wes Moreland coming back who at edge. When FAMU's defense is at their best, they have someone who can get to the quarterback. And I think on that second team, I think Adrian Hall Jr. from Bethune-Cookman is someone who's been a little bit overlooked. 6'1", about 265. Last year had a really, really good. Last year had a pretty good year, but the year before, really, really good year as a sophomore. 9.5 tackles for loss, Perry, 3 sacks. was a transfer from Tennessee Tech, where he saw action as a true freshman as well. So I think all these guys on the second team, Perry, the theme here is guys that have shown flashes of being good, but just haven't been able to break through and have that superstar breakout yet. So, and even with like Glenn, all these guys have the ability, Perry, to make that jump to first team with an excellent season, but they all have certain aspects that I really like as players.
We still stay second team defense. Let's look at the linebackers, and this is Jackson State heavy with Reed Pulliam, Ashton Taylor, and Malik Stenton. Reed and Ashton both Jackson State. Malik Stenton, Bethune-Cookman. Those are the three guys, all SWAC second team at linebacker.
Yeah, I'll say this. I know why they weren't first team because, and I'm sure we'll talk about first team later, because I think linebacker on the first team was absolutely loaded. But I think there was an argument that you could make for one of these guys from Jackson to be first team, and we'll kind of talk about who I thought they should be over when you look at who made it from last year. But I really, really like what Ashton Taylor brought last year to Jackson. But I think Reed Pulliam, man, has a chance to have a real breakout year, man. I like his size of 6'3", was an all-SWAC selection last year by Phil Steele, had 7 tackles for loss last year, 3.5 sacks. For me, I know people like the linebackers who just have a lot of tackles. You know, they like those 100 tackle guys, the 90, the 120 for some of the better linebackers. But for me, I value a linebacker who can create negative plays. Now, that's also a product of the scheme. But if I have a linebacker who gives me 104 tackles, Perry, but they only give me 2 tackles for loss and maybe half a sack, I'll take the guy who only gives me 60, 70 tackles but has 7, 8, 9, 10 tackles for loss and a handful of sacks. Because I need a guy who is not afraid to go make a play rather than just because Perry, we know as football guys, I'd rather have the linebacker that's generating negative plays than the guy who's tackling the running back 5 yards down the field. If you give up 5 yards every play, you know what happens, Perry. They eventually go down and score. So I think both these linebackers from Jackson have a lot of potential. And I think you see another Bethune-Cookman guy here. Perry, we've talked about this Bethune-Cookman team. We talked about it last time I was on the show. This is a team that feels like it's been on the precipice of breaking through. There's been a whole lot of close games. And if they can't get it done, Raymond Woody has been talked about on the hot seat. You see that this team has some individual talent that's been promising. It's just putting it all together and winning those games on the field, which they haven't been able to do the past few years.
And let's look at the defensive back with Shamar Hawkins coming from Jackson State, Blake Davis, Grambling, Herman Brister, the third Southern University defensive back, and Jamil Sanders round up the 4 DBs coming up as second team All-SWAC selection.
Yes, Shamar Hawkins, a massive, I say addition because, if you remember, he hit the portal at one point. And so I think that was a huge ability to get him back. I thought there was a chance Herman could be on first team. I don't know how you felt, Perry, as a Southern guy, but I really, really liked that safety room for Southern. And I thought Herman Brister showed flashes last year of being that first team guy. I think of his performance against Prairie View. I think it's about his performance against Alabama A&M. I thought he had some really, really promising moments. And I think Herman Brister is the guy that I would not be surprised to see on first team as we get to the end of the year. Also with Jamil Sanders, I like what he brings to the table as well. I think FAMU's always going to have good defensive backs, Perry. It's just that is just the nature of life recruiting in Florida. And I think when you look at everything they lost with Kendall Bowler and some of those guys in the back end, they're going to need someone like him to step up. And I think Jamil Sanders, he had a pretty good year last year, graded out just under 70, according to their Pro Football Focus. And so Jamil Sanders is someone I'm looking at to see if he can possibly take a step forward to replace someone like Kendall Bowler on the outside.
Let's look at the All-SWAC selection for second-team offense real quick. Got about 3 minutes before we go to break. But let's look at quarterback Bethune-Cookman, Cam Ramson. This is an interesting pick because looking around the landscape of the conference, it's a flip of the corner. Who's the second-best quarterback in the conference besides Morgan at Jackson State?
A little surprised here, Perry. Just to make it quick, I would have personally put Mekhi Higgins here. I know he's technically going through a quarterback battle at Alabama A&M, but he was the guy who played in the conference last year, probably second statistically in the conference last year. I thought him, and then Ransom showed flashes, Perry, but I just don't think like for me personally, I would have put Higgins, and I even would have put. I know he was hurt last year. Just based off what he did 2 years ago, I probably would have put Andrew Body above Cam Ransom as well. So that one took me aback a little bit.
Let's look at the running back position. You look at McDowell coming from Prairie View. B.J. Curry, UAPB. You surprised by these two picks?
No, I think you can make potentially an argument for Travis Terrell from Jackson. But you look at what everyone lost at running back, Terry. I mean, who else do you really put there? So that I think the kid from Jackson would be the only one that I would potentially argue. But since they had him all first team, all purpose, or return specialist or whatever, I just think the SWAC has made a habit of not giving people two honors. So I get why they have it. I will say McDowell, transfer from Campbell, I think could have a big year in Tremaine's offensive scheme.
Looking at the offensive line, Jackson State, Quavian Davis coming from Alabama State, Cameron Smith, Taj Martin from Grambling State, and Desmond Penn from Alabama State. Looking at Alabama State, they're getting some guys on this offensive line, and then you add in Tyro Lawrence coming from Alabama A&M.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all, personally. I mean, you look at the offensive line that Alabama State has coming back. I mean, they return almost every single starter on the offensive line. So I'm not surprised at that at all. And also, Cameron Smith was the highest graded offensive lineman they had last year, 74.9. And then I really think Tyro Lawrence had a really, really good year at guard. I actually really like him. And I think you could make an argument that he could have been bumped up to first team.
And let's look at the receivers, tight ends that's rounding out all SWAC selection, second team, coming from Bethune-Cookman, Malik Huggins, coming from Texas Southern, Trenton Leary, and from Southern University from the tight end position, Dupree Fuller.
I don't know about you, Perry. I was personally shocked Dupree Fuller wasn't first team. Now, statistically, maybe you can make an argument for the kid from Jackson who was first team, but I think talent-wise, I think Dupree Fuller should have been first team. I really, really like his potential. I just think he got limited because Southern was kind of trying to figure out their situation at quarterback. If Southern has a set starter at quarterback, I think Dupree Fuller could have a big game. And then at wide receiver, Perry, we just had so much turnover at that position that I think Huggins and Leary were probably deserving there. I don't know if there's too many people you could argue or have a strong argument for to be on those teams over them.
Yeah, I thought Dupree had an opportunity for me. Best hands on the team from last year. I mean, he's a big target, but, let's get ready to take a break. And then when we come back on the other side, we'll look at the All-SWAC first team selection. So you guys stay tuned. Got my man Zack McKenna joining me. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up. Kicks good. Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, the scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now, 17-10. Southern is on top.
Passing leaders in the conference. Lionel Hayes from Grambling, your top passer. Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff.
And the ball was dropped to Tommy Head.
Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Glad to have you guys with us. Got my man Zack McKenna from FCS Football Central. Let's talk some All-SWAC selection. We've already talked about the All-SWAC second-team offense and defense, but we'll take things a little slow as we head into first-team All-SWAC. And let's start on the defensive side of the ball, Zach, and let's look at the defensive line starting out with the preseason Defensive Player of the Year, Kelby Givens, right there on that D-line, making the All-SWAC first-team selection. From Jackson State, you got Jeremiah Williams, Bryce Cage from Grambling State, and Westmoreland from Florida A&M, man. Looking at this, rounding out the defensive linemen.
Yeah, those first three that you named with Cage, Williams, and Givens were, no pun intended, they were Givens. I mean, I don't see how you can make an argument. I think you got Kelby Givens, who by far is the best defensive player in this conference, and I don't even think it's as much as I love Jeremiah, I do think Jeremiah is probably the best defensive tackle in the FCS. I like just the impact that Kelby's made year after year. And Perry, as a Southern fan, you know this. I mean, it's not like he's had an all-conference, all-American across from him. So he sees double teams consistently, and people scheme for him, and he just continues to wreak havoc. I really like Kelby's game. The one thing I think this year is interesting, Perry, I've seen him in person. I just am very curious to see what he's like as an NFL prospect. Mm-hmm. Like, how do the scouts feel? Because I do think he's a bit undersized for an edge rusher, and I just wonder if you're going to get that kind of like Jordan, like that Jordan vibe. Like a few years ago when Jordan won the Buck Buchanan during the COVID season. He was a bit small for the NFL. I think you might get that with Givens, but I'm just curious to see. Jeremiah does this thing on the interior. But I think Bryce Cage, out of all these first-team guys, Perry, does not get the love that he deserves. He transferred in ahead of last season. I want to say he came from southeastern Louisiana. And you look at what he did last year, man. I mean, he had 11 and a half tackles for loss, 4 sacks. He's 6'5", 270 coming off the edge. Probably has the size to move inside in certain situations. I really, really like Bryce Cage from Grambling State. I don't think he gets enough love. And Davian Westmoreland had a solid year last year, but I think this might be more projection, man, because if FAMU is going to be as good as some people think, they're going to need Westmoreland to evolve into that game changer off the edge, that Isaiah Land, that whoever you want to play, they have to have someone to get to the quarterback. Because last year, I think Westmoreland was a bit too inconsistent for my liking, and I do think he has the ability to take the step forward this year.
Let's look at the linebacker position. Southern University with a linebacker named to the SWAC all-first-team selection on defense, and it's Vincent Page Jr. And he's also joined with this by Edwards from Alcorn State and Jenkins from Florida A&M. Talk about that linebacker crew with Vincent Page coming from Southern.
Man, before we get to even Vincent, man, how big of a return is getting Samarian Edwards back for Alcorn? He hit the portal. He transfers to Norfolk State, comes back right before the SWAC Media Day, gets put on first team, obviously, because of the season he had. But how big is that for that defense, man? Because that was going to be by far one of the biggest losses for that Alcorn defense. And I think Vincent Page, man, I really, really like what he brings. Again, Perry, what did I tell you? I really like linebackers who create negative plays. And if I'm not mistaken, Vincent had 10.5 tackles for loss last year, 4 or 5 sacks. can get after the quarterback while also leading Southern in tackles last year. So really, really like what Hayes brings back now. Navron Jenkins is the guy I was talking about. I don't mind him on first team. I personally would have had one of the Jackson linebackers, probably specifically Reed Pulliam, on first team over him, but still a guy who I think has the ability to maybe have a better year than I'm thinking. 73 tackles last year, 4.5 for loss, 3 sacks. So I think Navron Jenkins here has a chance to kind of prove me wrong. But for me, I think he probably would have fit better on second team if I was personally putting these teams together.
Let's look at the defensive backs. Of course, you get Lewis from Alabama State, Antoine Watts, Bethune-Cookman, T.J. Huggins from Florida A&M, and to round it out, Horatio Johnson as the DB named to SWAC all-first-team selection from Southern University.
Yeah, I told you, man, that defensive back room at Southern is extremely interesting, man. I mean, you just have so much talent because even guys that weren't on there, Perry, like you looked at what Elijah West is coming back, Herman Brister, Xavier Spencer, Horatio Johnson, like that secondary is really good. And then let's not forget Eric Reed, who played a ton of snaps last year at corner. How experienced is that defensive back room for Southern? So I'm going to be very, very curious to see what that looks like throughout the year. But I think Southern's secondary, outside of Kelby Givens wreaking havoc off the edge, could be one of the best positional rooms early in the season in the SWAC defensively. I'm very, very curious to see what it looks like. I'm not surprised about Lewis from Alabama State, a bit undersized, but has a lot of speed coming out of Miami Northwestern, only about 5'9", 160, but he finds a way to get it done. A little bit different mold than what we're used to seeing from Alabama State, right? We're used to seeing those 6'2", 6'3 corners come out of there. But I think the two kids from Florida, man, I really, really like their game. T.J. Huggins, I want to take you back, Perry. If you remember in that Norfolk State game early in the year, we talked about the corner opposite of Kendall Bowler getting picked on by Norfolk in that game. It was because T.J. Huggins wasn't playing. And he was that opposite corner last year, actually led FAMU in interceptions with 3 interceptions, had about 20 tackles out there on the island at corner. He's 6'3", 185, man, the transfer from Tulane. I think I really, really like T.J. Huggins' game, and I think he could have a potential really breakout year. And then I like what Antoine Watts brings as safety for Bethune-Cookman. If I'm not mistaken, he was a transfer from Albany State and had a really, really good year last year at that safety spot. So no complaints about this first-team secondary.
For everybody out there, that is the voice of my man, Zack McKenna, a.k.a. Blue FCS Football Central. We're talking all-SWAC selection, football selection at SWAC Media Day. They put out first team and second team. We've already did second team. Now we're on first team defense. But when we come back from outside of this break, when we get to the top of the hour, we'll look at the all-SWAC first team selection on offense as well as the preseason offensive and defensive player of the year. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal. All right?
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500-plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket, and his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. Is he going to get? I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue. Quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. 2nd down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good. Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, a scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now, 17-10. Southern is on top.
Passing leaders in the conference, Donald Hayes from Grambling, your top passer. Washington, second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff,
and the ball was dropped, and Tommy Head.
Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield, and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
pass. It's a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. Hayes now with 187 yards receiving. 169-yard touchdown, 181-yard touchdown.
And Southern's came up with all the big plays.
They lead by 14. And that one is intercepted by Darden. Darden looking for some room, and Guyan will finally drag him down. But we start the 4th right after this. 2nd down and 20 after the penalty.
Oh, he's got a man wide open.
Going into the corner. Touchdown! Reynolds attempting the point after. It's good. A 32-yard field goal. Kick is up. Kick is good.
This is a great football game.
We knew it would be, though. Tory Thigpen got us out of our seats.
And this is
all right, everybody. We're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Everybody out there listening on Talk 107.3 across the Baton Rouge capital city area. Good morning to you guys as you got your radios on this morning. And everybody watching us on their laptops, their phones, whatever the case may be on our YouTube and Facebook Live. Glad to have you guys with us this morning. Got my man Zack McKenna from FCS Football Central on here. Good morning, Zach.
Good morning, man.
You know, as we go through and we study talking about All-SWAC selection, we went through the All-SWAC second team offense and defense, and we just wrapped up All-SWAC first team defense. Now let's look at All-SWAC first-team offense, and it starts with quarterback Jacobian Morgan, who comes in as the preseason offensive player of the year.
Yeah, I wasn't super surprised. It's always going to go to the quarterback. And I know some people have their reserves about Jacobian, especially with just the weird quarterback rotation that started the year. That he gets banged up against Southern in the SWAC championship, and then Zai comes in and wins that game, but then he ends the season so high with that Celebration Bowl MVP. I just look around the conference, and I understand some people might not love Jacobian Morgan's game, but my question to those people would be, who would you pick? Like, what Alabama A&M has Higgins. I don't think you could put Higgins over Morgan. Alabama State has Body, who missed all of last season. Alcorn doesn't have a returning starter. Bethune-Sky was second team, but you won't put him over Morgan. FAM doesn't have a returning starter. Grambling doesn't have a returning starter. Valley doesn't have a returning starter. PV doesn't have a returning starter. Jalen Woods for Southern only started, 4 or 5 games last year? Texas Southern starting quarterback got hurt in week 1 last year, and UAPB doesn't have a returning starter. He has to be first team. So I think Jacobian is a lot better than a lot of people expect. I think he thrives in the system that Jackson has, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being a game manager and fitting the offense that it surrounds you.
Let's look at the running back position. Alcorn State, Jacorian Sewell, and from Florida A&M, Thad Franklin Jr. Didn't think I would see a Florida A&M guy from the running back position because they have been a pass-happy offense, but seeing Thad Franklin making that first-team All-SWAC selection at running back made me turn my head a little bit.
Yeah, I did too. Listen, I thought Sewell was a lot. I think he had an outstanding year for Alcorn. I mean, Perry, when do we not see Alcorn have at least one good running back?
Mm-hmm.
Alcorn is always going to have a running back, and I think Sewell coming back was massive. And the funny part is they actually pair him with Reggie Davis, who transferred in. He was the starter at Chattanooga last year. They have 2 starting level running backs coming in. I think what helped Thad Franklin is the turnover. Perry is the SWAC just lost so much top end talent. And also, too, there were some really good running backs that got banged up. I think Thad Franklin here for preseason makes sense. He did show that he has the potential, Perry, to have a big year, but it's a little tough, in my opinion, Perry, when you have a first-team all-conference running back who only topped 100 yards one time last season. The only time he topped 100 yards was against Bethune-Cookman, where he went for 195 and 3 touchdowns. It was an outstanding performance. But, Perry, every other game last year, he never topped 80 yards. So I think it just shows how much youth and new faces we're going to see at the running back position.
Let's look at the offensive line position, the big boys up front. In this first team All-SWAC, you look at DeAndre Towns Blue, Jackson State, Charles Davis, Florida A&M, Ashton Gabriel from Florida A&M, and then Ronald Brown, Alcorn State, along with Desmond Daniels from Alabama State.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, Perry, I'm always going to have my opinions on the offensive line. No way Desmond Daniels should have been first team. Put whoever you want there. And I think I talked about how I really like Cameron Smith from Alabama State. I think just flip them, if anything. I don't know how. I don't think Daniels had that type of year last year. I don't mind any of the other selections, really. I mean, Towns Blue, really, really good offensive line for Jackson. I was really high on him when he transferred in from Lackawanna. I really do like Charles Davis. I think Ashton Grable has an argument to be a top 10 interior offensive lineman in the FCS. And I thought Ronald was probably the best offensive lineman that Alcorn had last year. So no surprise there. I would probably flip Daniels and Cameron from Alabama State there.
And then looking at the guys at the wide receiver, Nathan Rampart, who transferred in from Mississippi Valley to Jackson State, Jonas Fertillion at Jackson State, and then Marvin Landy, Jackson State at the tight end position. Morgan's going to have some weapons to throw it to, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone's got their complaints about Morgan, but bro, he has the best wide receiving core in the conference. Has one of the best offensive lines. I mean, I don't know what everyone wants to see there. I think this was easy, man, with Rembert and Fortillion. I just don't even know if there's an argument. Rembert over 1,000 yards last year at Valley, man. I don't think either one of us thought Valley had a quarterback. I don't know if they had a quarterback that threw for 1,000 yards, man. They probably combined across the 3 quarterbacks they put out there to play. Fortillion really came into his own late last year, especially in that Celebration Bowl. they're kind of a perfect complement too, Perry. I think you have the slot guy in Rimbert, and you got an outside guy with some height with Fortillion. But again, Perry, I like Marvin Landy at tight end, but in my opinion, I don't think you can look at the film and say Dupree Fuller's not a better overall player there.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally would have had Dupree Fuller first team, but I think you could have them any way you want. But I think Fuller, for me, when we released our FCS tight end rankings, Fuller was 11th for me in the FCS. So I find it hard that he's not first team.
And then you're looking at the specialty. What are your thoughts on Travis Terrell Jr. there?
Man, Perry, one of my favorite players to watch in the country. I think the way that they could use them, this really, really makes me excited because you can use them as kind of like a gadget guy. You can put them. I think they can put him at quarterback in the Wildcat and run some different things with him. I think you can put him in the slot and make him more of a slot wide receiver. You can put him on punt return, kick return. You can put him at full-time running back. You could do so much with him. Just the key for Travis Terrell is just to get him in space, right? And that's going to be the big thing. Is just I don't think you should waste his talent running him in between the tackles because he's not that big. Put him in space and let him utilize his speed, quickness, and agility, because the way he can make people miss and the way he reads the field in open space is amazing. Man, he was a second-team all-purpose All-American for us at FCS Football Central. He was just behind a guy, Perry, that played quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and had over 1,000 kick return yards. Kind of hard for Travis Terrell to beat that, to be fair, at all-purpose. So he was second-team all-purpose, which shows you how good he is, man, just as a true sophomore, Perry, to be an FCS All-American already.
And I got to go here with it, talking about even with players coming in. Of course, it was reported this week that Trey Holly, the all-time leading high school rusher in Louisiana State football history, has now since come from LSU to Southern University. Your thoughts on being able to add a guy like Trey Holly to the roster?
I think it's huge because for me, I look at the running back room for Southern. They always seem to find somebody, right? So I think even if you don't add on Perry, I think y'all would have been fine just because I trust just the development of running back there. But I think losing the kids you guys lost to Tennessee State was a pretty big one. And then on top of that too, you guys had another one that transferred to Incarnate Word, if I'm not mistaken, who was like a late add there. But I think Trey Holly could come in and contribute immediately. I know there's a lot of people who were talking about, he didn't play last season. He was in a backup role as a true freshman. But, I mean, even in his limited action as a true freshman, if I'm not mistaken, he was the SEC Freshman of the Week. He had 91 yards on 6 carries against Army, I think. And so I'm going to be very interested to see what he does. And this is a kid, Perry, you don't accidentally rush for 10,000 yards in high school. It's unbelievable. And I think with Southern, he's going to get a lot of touches. The question mark, though, Perry, is at 5'7", can he stay healthy? And that's going to be the question. But I trust Southern to develop running backs. They're always going to have a good running back. And I just think Trey Holly, at least, worst case, Perry, if he doesn't start, he raises the floor of the room. And I think that's what I try to get people to look at when you look at transfers. Even if it's not a starter, does it increase the depth and raise the floor of the room? Because we know in SWAC play you are going to have some depth, especially at key positions like running back, where the wear and tear is so heavy on these kids' bodies.
With the addition of Trey Holly to Southern's roster now, and we're looking around the conference, what would he be the most impactful new add to a program in the conference? If not, who would be the most impactful new add to a roster around the conference?
Okay, the only reason I would push back on that, Perry, is because running back is probably not a very impactful position. And I say that because, Perry, and as football guys, if I say, Perry, I'll give you a roster where your biggest question mark is running back, or I'll give you a roster where your biggest question mark is quarterback, you are never going to take the question mark at quarterback over the question mark at running back, right? And I think when you look at some of the quarterback additions like Mekhi Hagan, how can you not say he's going to be the most impactful if he wins that starting quarterback job at Alabama A&M? Because we've seen, Perry, we have teams that have had good running backs. We've had teams that have had good wide receiving cores, good defenses in Alabama State, right? How big – Alabama State's had some running backs, Perry, but how big would it have been if they would have had a quarterback a handful of years ago? how many SWAC championship appearances could they have had if they would have just found a quarterback? So I think when you look at Mekhi Hagans, you look at the handful of quarterbacks that FAM added, those guys are probably guys I'll look at to be the most impactful just because of the importance of the position that they play. And I think the other one could be, I think Holly could be in that conversation, but then you also got someone like a Jalen Ware for Jackson State on the defensive line. I think he could be huge for them because Jeremiah Williams has to have somebody next to him to take away some of the attention, because if you don't, they're just going to try to triple team Jeremiah on the inside. And then, Perry, look at all the additions that PV added. I mean, how many impactful guys could they have added there? Because they're going to probably have a new starter at, I think you would probably say almost every single position. And so how big is that? So I don't know if Holly would be the most impactful just because of the positional value there. But I do think if you look in terms of top transfers, if he wins the starting job here, he has the potential to be one of the best transfer additions of the offseason.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Alabama State some years ago when they added Isaiah Crowell from Georgia and the impact he made for Alabama State. I'm looking at this and I'm hoping Trey can have that same impact as he gets himself back into football shape and get things rocking and rolling for the Southern Jaguars. All right, Blue, as we reach the end today, man, let the people know how can they keep up with you. Football season is here. You're pumping out stuff left and right for them to want to keep up with what you're pumping out, because it's not just SWAC. We're talking about the Southland, too, for people that's out there and all the FCS as a whole. Give the people some information out there to keep up with you, Blue.
Yeah, SBS Football Central on si.com/college/FCS, the Blue Bloods on YouTube, all podcast here on platforms, and then on social media, man, trying to keep up with it all. There's transfer portal news, there's preseason All-American teams, there's individual team previews, conference previews, man. We got it all at SBS Football Central, man. And like I always tell you, man, I appreciate you having me.
Real quick before I let you go, anybody from the SWAC on your preseason All-American team?
Oh, yeah. Come on, man. You know Kelby Gibbons' first team. You already knew that. Just in terms of SWAC players on our All-American team, real quick, we had Kelby Gibbons' first team defensive line. Jeremiah Williams was actually first team defensive line. You also go into the MEAC, had Eric Connor from Morgan State on the first team too, and then also Travis Terrell, all-purpose from Jackson State, and then Nathan Rembert was a wide receiver from Jackson on the third team as well. And we got some MEAC guys thrown in there on second team. We had two defensive backs from the MEAC on second team, and Gerard Washington from South Carolina State and Malcolm Reed at safety from North Carolina Central.
Blue, man, I appreciate you, man. As the season continues to creep closer and closer, we'll be having more and more conversations about news that is out there, man. Thank you for joining. That is the voice of my man, Zack McKenna. Thank you, Zach.
Absolutely, man.
All right, everybody, let's get ready to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to have the Southern University head football coach, Terrence Graves, to talk to us about fall camp, SWAC Media Day, and whatever else with the news headed into as we get ready for the first football game of the season over in Atlanta for the MEAC SWAC Challenge against North Carolina Central. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Richard is the quarterback. And, Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard, looking in the end zone, has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3.
Goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard. 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. Glad to have you guys with us. I am Perry White. Good morning to everybody out there listening across the Baton Rouge capital city area on Talk 107.3 FM and everybody watching across the world on our YouTube and our Facebook pages. Glad to have you guys with us. And I'm glad to have a very special guest here on the show this morning. He's the head football coach over at Southern University. And guess what, people? It's that time of the year, Jaguar Nation. So nobody better than to talk about this time of year than the head man himself, my man, Coach Terrence Graves. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm trying to wake up. Today I'm a little sluggish this Saturday. Typically not what I am on a Saturday morning, but I'm trying to shake it, Coach.
Well, you know, you gotta get up when the rooster crows.
Have you actually been up and seen that rooster crow in the morning?
Yes, I have. My father and mother my father was from rural South Carolina. My mother was from rural Virginia. And we grew up in the inner city of Norfolk, Virginia. And when we got in junior high and high school, my dad made a declaration that he gave us all the dogs we wanted when we were growing up. And he wanted to enjoy some of his upbringing. So he bought some roosters from the country to the inner city. And my brother and I shared a room on the back of the house and of the backyard. So definitely I heard it. We heard it constantly, seen it, and everything. So, oh, yeah, I know about the rooster crow.
Was they some mean roosters?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he wound up having to kill one because he attacked my baby sister one time.
Yeah, I had an uncle say that they walk around, they call it yard pimp for a reason, the way that
That's
rooster
right.
walk around strutting with his stuff.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You know, as we get ready into football season, man, we're talking about fall camp and, you know, SWAC Media Day has come and gone. And for you, what was the experience like for SWAC Media Day to get up and, you know, members of the media from all across the country, you sitting on the main stage with Tiff and Jay Walker, but just to be able to sell your program and talk about what's happening?
Oh, definitely a blessing. I really enjoyed it. You know, I look forward to have the opportunity to get before the media and talk about Southern University football. You know, I know that part of being a head football coach is being an ambassador for the university and the athletic program. So, and I'm not afraid of the camera. So I enjoy it. I look forward to meeting and talking with the media and really talking about Southern University football.
And then you go into the MEAC SWAC Challenge press conference over in Atlanta. You get a chance to sit down with who's going to be across the field from you coming up in just a few weeks in Trey Holly, who we all know was the defensive coordinator here at Southern. He's won a Black College National Championship at North Carolina Central. And interesting enough, the two teams who are playing this year in Southern and North Carolina Central were both one game away from the Celebration Bowl last year. So to have that type of matchup to start the season this year, your thoughts in talking about North Carolina Central and being able to promote that game which is going to be, as I always talk about, with the bright lights and everybody watching on ABC for the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
It's going to be a great game. Excited to be a part of it. We're excited. We're preparing to get ready. You know, Trey, Coach Oliver, he and I go all the way back to our college days in the CIAA. Of course, me being at Winston-Salem Stadium in North Carolina Central. And then we came up in the coaching ranks. I'm a little older than he is, but, you know, both of us are Virginia guys, and we know one another, really good friends. And, you know, but at the end of the day, both of us are trying to, you know, to put our programs at the top. And, you know, when it's on game day, you know, we're going to be friendly and homeboys and all that, but when they kick it off, you know, we're going to go at each other. And that's just how it's going to be. So we're excited. We're looking forward. We know that he's going to be fired up, and they're going to have a well-coached team ready to go. And we're going to be fired up and well-coached, and we're going to be ready to go.
You know, I want to ask this to you, Coach, because last year was your first season as the head coach at Southern University, and your first season through a long career of just being an assistant coach throughout college football. But you go 8-5, 7-1 in conference play last year, and then, you know, it'd be totally different if you was 5-8 and 1-7. But the fact you made a SWAC championship berth in year one, where do you go to build, and what is the momentum and the motivation to build into year two coming off of that type of season that you had in year one?
I thank God for the success that the program had, but I'm not complacent. Last year was last year. We didn't win the championship, the SWAC championship, nor the Celebration Bowl, so there's always something to work for. And so, you know, walking off that field in Jackson, after that SWAC championship game, my mindset, by the time I hit the locker room, you know, my mindset was on getting ready for next year, how we can get back to the championship game and how we'll finish the way that we did finish last year. And so that's been the goal. You know, when we got it back in January, when the guys got back from school, we had our first meeting. First thing I said was, you know, our goals for this year is to start in Atlanta with a win and end in Atlanta with a win. Those are goals. We're going to set those goals. Now, how we obtain and achieve those goals, it's going to be how hard we work, how hard we execute, how hard we commit to being great every single day in what we do. And if we do that, then we increase our chances of being successful, reaching those goals.
You know, as you talk about reaching those goals, what are you finding out for the personal goals for yourself as a coach? You know, it's one thing to put it on the young men and the team and the coaches, but what about yourself, accountability and holding yourself to some goals that you say, you know what, I got to accomplish for myself personally this year?
Well, I just want to be better. You know, I say a prayer every day, Lord, help me to be better and be greater than I was the day before.
Me too,
and so
Coach. Me too.
I want to be greater from the standpoint and everywhere, from a father, from a coach, from a mentor, you know, from whatever. Whatever I want to be better. And I want to get these guys to another level. I want to get them to another level spiritually, mentally, physically, academically, athletically, you know, trying to push them to get to a level that I know that they can obtain if they really, really, really stay dedicated and focused. So that's the challenge for me every single day, is to how can I get these guys better each and every day, you know, and those are goals I set for myself.
Fall camp is upon us. The team shows up. You get everybody ready to go to get ready for the football season. What's day one Terrence Gray's fall camp like?
Oh, it was exciting. It was exciting. Guys are flying around like typical first day. A lot of high energy guys were excited, ready to get out there and get it on. I mean, you know, it was really, really high energy. Guys were flying around, making spectacular plays on both sides of the ball. And so, you know, it was good. That's usually what you have the first day. If you don't have that the first day, then you got real reasons for concern. And so, you know, our thing is we're going to be detailed about the details. That's what we talk about. We're going to be detailed about the details because we gotta make sure that the things that we didn't do well last year, we got to be better. And the things that we did well, we got to do even better this year.
as we look in coming into the season, of course, it's going to be a quarterback battle that everybody's looking forward to seeing who's going to come out because you've added some depth to that room, obviously depth to the running back room, and just looking at depth as this team. And I got to ask you, for you as a head coach, is there a favorite part of being a head coach for you? Is it managing the game? Is it developing players? Is it just getting into that recruiting and the transfer portal and the high school level and finding that talent? What part seems to be the most entertaining for you as a head coach?
I love it all, Perry. I mean, I love it all. It's no one thing that I value more than the other because all those things that you just spoke about, all those things make you a football coach, or it should make you a football coach. You got to love every aspect of what you're talking about: recruiting, developing, coaching, teaching. All those things you have to love to do. If you don't, then why are you doing?
Looking at this big story of the week, I got to ask you this, talking about Trey Holly, Louisiana's all-time leading rusher in high school football, was at LSU. He showed up. Hey, somebody saw him and took a picture of him at Southern's camp, and then it just took off, and I'm sure you've been getting phone calls and texts and everything else in terms of the interest of you got this big-time guy on your roster right now at fall camp. For you, opening the door for Trey Holly to come into the program and being a part of working out with Southern here in the fall camp?
I say it all the time, relationships matter. I recruited Trey in high school. So it's not like Trey and I did not know one another. I recruited Trey in high school, and so, of course, having that great, having a relationship with him and watching him go and do his thing at LSU. And unfortunately, those things happen off the field. And, the young man, he applied to school, got admitted, the whole nine, and asked me for an opportunity to come and be a part of the team. So, of course, we're going to open our doors and arms up to him. And like we would anybody else that, we know and we know of, and we want to give them an opportunity to continue to further their lives and their careers.
From a talent perspective, looking at your running back room, and I circle Trey Holly because of the big name, when you look at him and his attributes, what is it about his game that you really loved that had you recruiting him out of high school?
He's a football player. I mean, he is a football player. He runs hard. He catches well. He does all those things that a running back, you want a running back to do. And so, it's a reason why he has the accomplishments that he has. He just didn't wake up one day and become the young man that he is in terms of athletic ability. So he has the total package. But, talking about that running back room is real deep and it's very talented. I mean, to have Michael Franklin from Jacksonville State, you're talking about 6'2", 225 pounds. And, you're talking about a big running back that can run. He can run through you. He can run away from you. We got Princeton K. He's a slasher speed guy from Louisiana Tech. And, of course, then you added the Amarian Asbury from Southern Lab now. Double A is what I call him. Double A looks like he's a junior in college. He doesn't look like a freshman in high school. A freshman in college. He's a big, powerful, strong back. And then, of course, we have Barry Remo and Jason Gable from John Curtis. And so we got a really, really, really good, explosive, and talented mixture of great running backs. We got older, experienced guys, and we have really, really good young football players, running backs in that room.
I want to talk to you, too, about, because I know you've had your hands on the pass with special teams, and I normally don't get a chance to get to special teams so much, getting caught up in offense and defense, but special teams for you this year, looking for that guy that can be that return man, looking for that kicker that can knock down kicks from deep, looking for a consistent somebody punting can pin an opposing team far down the field. What is special teams like for you this year?
Oh, it's improved. It's improved. We know that We didn't quite set the tone that we wanted to set last year, and that's been harped on, preached on, and working hard to really get that shored up. And signing Nathan Zimmer, state championship kicker from right here at Central High School, really helps us because he can punt, he can kick, he can do all three things and do it well. And then we have Kenneth Pham is back. He started really coming on towards the end. He spent a lot of the off season with some of the summer with one of the former NFL kickers that holds camps and things of that nature, and he went and really worked on his craft, and you can see it when we first got in and we had practice and we went through that segment. You could really see how he's worked on the technical parts and how stronger he's gotten over the year to really help us in that aspect of the game. And then we got a number of speed guys and even those running backs can return kicks, and wide receivers were talented there. And we have some really quick and fast guys who have return experience. So it's gonna be exciting to see how those guys because we'll do I don't know if a lot of people do that, but we'll actually have a special team scrimmage, and it'll be live because we want to find out who can do what when the live action is taking place. It's one thing to simulate it, but you got to actually do it so you know who you can put back there, who can get it done, and things of that nature. So, I'm excited to see how we'll do special teams wise this year. So the thing is we want to be dominant in all three phases, and so special teams is something I don't take lightly, and so I'm excited that we where we are now and what we're doing.
And Coach Nathan Zimmer, he's been actually interning here at the Jaguar Journal. He's been working the soundboard behind the scenes, producing for us for the past 3 months, up into the fact that he got ready for fall camp. So, man, great young man coming out of Central. And if you ever need the mass comm side of things, that's your go-to guy, Coach. I'm putting you on. He got that side under control for you, especially being in front of a camera and speaking. But, looking overall for this team, the quarterback battle is going to be the big thing coming into the year. But most importantly for me, how do you prepare a team for the big game like North Carolina Central? Two teams who can obviously compete for Black College National titles, can compete for conference titles. What does that process like to get your team prepared and up and go for a big game, quick, fast, in a hurry?
Well, you definitely gotta execute every single day and dominate the day in terms of execution of what you're doing on and off the field. But the thing that we talk about all the time, the unique thing about being here at Southern University, this is nothing new for us. We always on television. We always play in front of big crowds. We always play, on major networks. So the thing that we have to do, we have to just, go business as usual. We got to focus and execute because, to focus on the external factors of it being, primetime television and, all the pomp and circumstance, which is great. It is. Love it. Excited, excited even thinking about it. But at the end of the day, we got to prepare to win a football game.
Mm-hmm.
And so how you do that, you got to go out and you got to execute in all three phases in practice, and you got to simulate and make sure that when we grade that film and we're watching that film, that our guys are executing at a high level to give us a great chance to come out successful. I mean, we're not going to build it up to be more than what it is. We understand and we know all the external factors. We know about, it's for conference bragging rights, all those great things, and we love that. But all that stuff has its proper place. The thing that we can't get caught up into those external factors and forget that we got a football game to play. We know that we know we're going to Atlanta, Georgia, playing in that great game, playing in front of that great crowd on national television, the whole nine. But we got to make sure that we execute and do what we need to do to come out with that, come out that game victorious. That's the goal. That's the mindset, and that's the way we approach it.
Two more questions before I let you go, Coach. One, for the fans out there looking at the football schedule, very favorable at home. Alabama State, who's going to be a contender out of the East. Jackson State, who won the East last year. You got homecoming against Prairie View, who a lot of people are high on because of the transfer portal and their new coach in Tremaine Jackson. Florida A&M, who's going to contend for the SWAC East at home. And then Texas Southern, who played us tough in overtime last year. Great home slate for home games here on Jaguar Nation for the Jaguar fans to come out.
Definitely. It's an excellent home schedule. We are excited, man. I mean, we are really excited. This reminds me of the 90s when I was here coaching, to have those teams come to A.W. Mumford Stadium, Coach Pete Richardson Field on a Saturday night or afternoon. I mean, it's down. You talking about something that has me fired up. This home schedule has me fired up because I know that the Bluff Southern University campus will be packed week in and week out because those games are going to bring out those type of fans. And our players, we need that Jaguar Nation to come and really support us and get behind these guys because these guys feed off that crowd. You know, I tell them all the time, football is like life. It's going to have ebbs and flows. It's going to have highs and lows. So how do you respond? And then when we're in A.W. Mumford and we may have a low moment and that crowd gets into it and the band, the jukebox gets to blowing and those guys start to get energized, man, there's no other place to play college football like A.W. Mumford on a Saturday night. And so we're excited, man. We're excited to have the opportunity to host and have a great home schedule like we do. You know, we've heard all the stuff, and we know what people are saying. Of course, PV's coaches a little, using that as motivation. You know, we schedule them as homecoming. Sometimes coaches take that as disrespectful, and coaches take that as disrespectful and the whole nine. But that's how it falls. But I mean, that all feeds into the game. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, whatever you say, whatever you have to say, whatever you need to motivate your guys, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, the game is going to be played. And like I tell my guys all the time, we respect everybody, but we don't fear nobody.
Listen, they scheduled me for homecoming. I'm taking this disrespect. You think you gonna get a dub on me for homecoming? You know, but listen, you're right. They got to put on their pants just like you got to put on your pants. They got to put on their socks the same way. The game has to be played. And the last question, Coach, is Fred McNair still on the staff? He's moved up from the tight ends to deal with the quarterbacks, a former standout quarterback himself in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Of course, Coach Tyden has since moved on, but to continue to have McNair on the staff and then him moving now working with the quarterbacks.
Yeah, you know, I said it last year and I'll say it again and I'll keep saying it. God bless me with a great staff. I prayed for the type of staff that I have. And, I am ecstatic, elated to have that staff. And Coach, to have a championship former head coach as an assistant coach, as Coach McNair, has really helped me and my maturation as a head coach. I tell these guys all the time, I have no problem giving people their due. And I will say, having the opportunity to lean on Fred, to lean on Matt, for advice and sometimes, hey man, I run stuff down and just for confirmation and things of that nature. Man, that's a blessing. And then to have him in the quarterback room, like you said, he's the original Air McNair. So, to have that opportunity for him to be in that room, to develop and teach and groom those guys, you can't ask for a better situation.
Well, Coach, man, I appreciate you coming on. I know you got some things to take care of and get to today. And thank you for taking the time out, man, as the season continues to inch closer and closer. I definitely want to bring you back to to ignite and get the fire burning under the Jaguar Nation. You know it don't take much, but they love to hear from our fearless leader, Terrence Graves, in order to keep instilling in them this championship culture, because the culture ain't just to build within the locker room. It's to build within the fan base, too. And that's to get the fan base to believe just as much as the team the way you want us to believe that, hey, we got a chance, but we all got to do our part. Fans, you got to show up to the game. You got to buy season tickets. You got to give back and help the program. To you, the players, the same thing. The product on the field. We all work hand in hand. That's what makes it the Jaguar Nation. That's what makes it Southern. That's what creates the pride, and why that pride has been going on decade after decade after decade. So, Coach, thank you for coming on this morning, man, and being able to share that information and to be able to talk to us about fall camp.
No problem, Terry. I really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely be back on to let you and the Jaguar Nation know the things that we're doing here at Great Southern University. We appreciate the support. We're excited, and we look forward to a great season. Go Jags.
Go Jags, man. Have a good day, Coach.
All right, you too.
All right, that was the voice of Coach Terrence Graves. Let's get ready to take a break. We'll come back. We'll get ready to close things out more at the Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
Really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast, and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss.
Jaguar Journal, good morning. Hope you guys have been enjoying the show. Good morning, everybody out there on Talk 107.3 FM and everybody listening and watching on our Facebook and YouTube Live. Be sure to subscribe to the Jaguar Journal's YouTube channel. Follow us across all social media on X, on Instagram, as well as Facebook. The Jaguar Journal is also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so you can keep up with the Jaguar Journal all over, and none of it costs you anything. We'd love for you to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Let's get ready to take a break. We come back, we get ready to close things out, all right?
and the 3. Ball's at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good. Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, the scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now, 17-10. Southern is on top.
Passing leaders in the conference, Donald Hayes from Grambling, your top passer. Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff.
And the ball was dropped, and Tommy Head.
Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And it's a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes it.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Everybody listening on Talk 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching on our Facebook and YouTube Live. Let me tell you something. If you're not entertained just by listening to me, go to the Jaguar Journal's YouTube channel and go to the comment section, right? The live comments. Thoroughly entertaining, right? I typically stay out of it because I know the conversations are back and forth to each other and the people directing and, whatever the case may be. But if you want to be entertained while you're listening to this show, go to the Jaguar Journal's YouTube channel and go to the live comment section, man. Thoroughly entertaining. I get a good laugh every week of the back and forth that goes on in there. It is its own world. I think they don't even listen to. They just want to come on here to go back and forth with each other. It ain't even about the radio show no more. It's just we're going at each other, and I love every moment of it, man, every moment of it. So thank you guys that are in the live chat on the YouTube. I love it each and every Saturday. I love the back and forth, and thank you for continuously waking up. It's a lot of things you can be doing besides going back and forth with each other early on a Saturday morning, but with this energy on a Saturday morning, I know football season is almost here. I love it, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to these home games, as I was talking to Coach Graves about it, man. Southern. Listen, fans, if you have not bought your season tickets, this is perhaps one of the best home game slates I have seen in a while for Southern University. Alabama State on September the 6th. Listen, Alabama State is a contender in the SWAC East. Remember the last time we played them? We lost to them in Montgomery. That's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be Andrew Body, who's going to be the quarterback for them, along with a great Alabama State defense who's been right there 1, 2, and 3 with Southern, Jackson, and it's been Alabama State top defenses. Then you look at Jackson State, of course, Black College National Champion, September the 27th. right here at A.W. Mumford Stadium in Baton Rouge. Should be a great game. Both teams played against each other last year in the SWAC championship. Both teams once again selected to win the SWAC East and West respectfully out of their own divisions. Prairie View, October the 18th for homecoming. I know Coach was talking about, don't take it as it is disrespect. We put you as homecoming. Trust me, there's a reason. Ask Alcorn last year. It's a reason we put you for homecoming, but it's going to be a hell of a game. Coach Tremaine Jackson, former coach last year at Valdosta State. He took Valdosta State to Division II National Championship, not a conference championship. He took Valdosta State to a Division II National Championship, and now he's at Prairie View. The guy can win, he can coach, but we got to see how things are going to turn out in year one. But that should turn out for a great game for homecoming, as Prairie View is one of the teams. It's been Southern and Prairie View for the past since COVID has happened that has won the SWAC West, right? It's been Prairie View and Southern, so why not have that as a great game? October the 25th, Florida A&M, a team we have yet to beat since they have joined the SWAC. And even before, this has been a tough out for Southern. I think the last time we beat FAMU was in 2011 in the Atlanta Football Classic. It's been a long time, but you got them at home. They are another contender out of the SWAC East. And then Texas Southern, a team who really took us to overtime last year. It took everything Southern had and some crazy plays to win that game. But listen, if Southern has the trajectory that everybody is saying playing for a SWAC championship, one of those three teams that we're playing at home is going to be in that SWAC championship game. It's most likely going to be Alabama State, Jackson State, or Florida A&M, unless the world stops spinning and Alabama A&M and Mississippi Valley find themselves, and anybody can do it. I'm not counting those teams out, but I'm just telling you from our perspective and selling tickets and the atmosphere against the opponent, you're going to have a team that's most likely going to represent the SWAC East in the SWAC championship. And at some point, if Southern does what they need to do in the SWAC West, one of these teams is going to probably be a rematch for the SWAC championship for Southern. Does that not excite you to buy season tickets? And then we started off in Atlanta. You heard Coach say start in the A, end in the A. Just trying to get you guys' mind prepared. This is almost August. Next time I talk to you, will it be August? When is August 1st? It's going to be August 2nd. We're here, but it's here. It's football season. First football game here in a few weeks. If this don't do it, I don't know what is. You just ain't a football fan. And for my band fans out there, I know we got the band fans too. Hey, get ready. Get your pom-poms. Get the kids. Start getting the tickets now. Start getting your hotels. Southern not with a lot of road games this year. We're talking about going to Mississippi Valley August the 30th. I'm actually interested in that game up in Itabena. You're talking about Fresno State on September the 13th. Going over to Bethune-Cookman October the 11th. Going up to my neck of the woods, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, taking on UAPB November the 1st. And then the last road game of the season, it'll be November the 8th against Alcorn State. That's going to be a tough one. Trust me, Alcorn wants revenge. That's the true road game I'm looking for this year, especially coming out of the SWAC West. That Alcorn and Southern game up on the reservation, man. That is always a tough place to go. And then you got your two neutral sites over at Atlanta and North Carolina Central and over down in New Orleans against Grambling in the Bayou Classic. It's going to be a great season. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of hype behind it. And if I'm going to hype it up, I need you guys to help me so we can back it up by packing out the stands, making it a tough place for any opponent. Being the Jaguar Nation that we are, going on the road, taking over stadiums. Jackson State swears they the only one that can do it, but they must forgot. There's a reason we the Jaguar Nation. We got to remind people of that. Can we do that? Can we do that with our home attendance this year? Let's make it better than we've had it ever. Let's do it when we go on the road. Let's show the power of Southern University. If we want to be a championship program, we got to carry ourselves as a championship program. We got to buy tickets and soar back into the program as though you're a champion, because this does not come free and it does not come easy. And I'm telling you, for us to be successful, us as the Jaguar Nation supporters and lovers of the gold and blue got to do our part in order to maintain the order of being the playing for championships. All right. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's show. Get your tickets. Subscribe to the Jaguar Journal's YouTube channel. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Keep up with us across all social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. And for my man Mike and myself, Perry, we'll be back next week at the same time, the same place, because always, it's the Jaguar Journal. Enjoy you guys' week, man. Hope you guys have a great one. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.